Hello and welcome to my Week 7 multimedia presentation. For this week's presentation, I'll be discussing two different articles that we have not covered in the book yet. One is by John Rohr and the other is by Louise Brownlow, Charles Merriam, and Luther Gulick. For my first article from the book, I chose John Rohr's Ethics for Bureaucratics on page 348. This article discusses the study of ethics and its integration into a public administration curriculum. It goes into explaining and really justifying the three considerations of ethical norms should be derived from the values of the regime. These values are normal for a regime as the official has taken an oath to uphold the regime, and these values can be discovered in the public law of the regime. What I found interesting about this article was the use of the word regime rather than administration. Generally, when I think of regime, I assume it's being used for an authoritarian government rather than a democratic one. But after analyzing the definition of the word regime, it can be used interchangeably. I also researched through this Cal Baptist Library and found an article titled "The Centrality of Public Morality in John Rohr's work." It's by Richard Green from the University of Utah. Green goes into describing how morality and ethics guide John Rohr's work and ultimately points out that the government relies on the morality and ethics of each administration or whoever is in charge of that particular government rather than having set standards for ethics and morality. And we can see this morality or ethics take form through the laws that administration or regime puts in place during their years being active. For the second article from the book, I chose the Report of the President's Committee on Administrative Management by Louise Brownlow, Charles Merriam, and Luther Gulick, and this is on page 88. This article discusses how the Articles of Confederation lack the, forethought to designate a strong enough national government, which was ultimately by design, but that also caused the government to kind of be in disarray during the early years of the United States. So the Constitution ultimately helped correct that in setting up more of a stronger backbone for the national government, and mainly including the administrative or executive side of things. After researching through the CBU library, I found an article that was called "The President's Committee on Administrative Management, The Untold Story and the Federalist Connection" by Stephanie Newbold and Larry Terry. This article mainly describes how the reports that the presidents submit to Congress showing recommendations and suggestions for improvements to the executive branch. The article also goes into detail how these reports ultimately tie directly into the Federalist Papers and the Constitution, and these connections still show today as the Constitution is the backbone of the United States government. And the administrative state of American government, relies on this Constitution. So those are my two articles from the book that we did not get into in this course, and the two articles that supported them that were scholarly based from the CVU library. Thank you for listening.